I was talking to a friend earlier that's local to us. There's a couple of people in here that are local around Tampa. Not that I don't consider myself a Tampa local or native or anything like that. I don't really have a fucking home. But this is where I would. This is the bucket list destination for me after all the bullshit. Anyways, I'm gonna need a cigarette for this one, so goes along with the weightlifting and everything else. I was talking to a friend, Rachel, and just messaged her to see how she was for the hurricane, and she said that in one of her feeds or an update popped on her phone that it was a friend's birthday that died, and I don't believe it was that long ago, and she was pretty bummed out. And I used to, the catalyst for me getting on pain pills and staying on them was my brother's death that happened today 16 years ago. And I kind of said to her, she probably thought I was being crass a little bit, but I kind of said, I'm over it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just over that whole section of my life was so far removed from what I am today, and for how much stronger I am as a person, that coming up in December is when my second brother died, right after Christmas and stuff. So it was like, like, make it near the holidays, Sounds better for the fucking book when it comes out. But I just said, I'm not really, it used to consume me, you know what I mean? It consumed me every day. I would get up with a fucking huge hole in my heart, and there was nothing that there was nothing else that I could do, Like, I was really amazed by some of my family members. I remember giving his eulogy and sitting up there, standing up there talking and just going, this was so sudden of a thing that, I wasn't imagining doing this, at my age, and I just remember looking at some people and they seem to get over it pretty fucking quick, Me being the sensitive, metrosexual that I am, it fucking affected me on a level that nothing's ever really affected me like that. And I desperately, remember, opiates make you feel pretty good. Well, that turned into, me then later breaking my neck and them not really working for me. And taking up to 100, I used to get a script for 180 Percocets, 10 milligrams from Dr. He was a surgeon. Put a cage and everything in my neck after I broke it. And, but it took about 10 years to get it done, and I already was in pain with my brother and that. And I spent so long suffering from that. Like, suffering to the point that I almost, I almost took my life, I had been so tired of at first I wanted to kill myself because of the pain, and then I never wanted to kill myself because of my brother or anything, but the pain and then the hopelessness and despair that is addiction. I remember I was sleeping on a fucking air mattress and a bed bug fell down off the ceiling, and me being part superhero heard it. And I remember looking around going, and I just smoked some crack and took some pills, which was started to become a combination for me. Not that you can tell by how fat I am now, not that I was ever skinny. It just was such a desperate, beyond desperate time that I was powerless against pain pills. I was utterly convinced that the only way I would get off pain pills is by killing myself. And so that was the last thing I said, to God was there's nobody up there or out there that can do this. You know what I mean? There's no and that's when God had worked in people's lives, especially in the Bible, where there was no other way to really go, well, this person helped, you know? Like I watched how this how the story unfolded after I begged him to spare my life and rid me of this fucking plague that I was so desperate to, you know, I mean, I'm looking at the surroundings. The shower was so gross you had to put fucking shoes on. You know, it was one of my, this scumbag that I worked with of one of his apartments that he owned. And basically the kid upstairs was a big bull. He was 6'5". And he was like chasing his brother down the street with a knife. And I just looked at him one day in front of his wife and I said, you know, some things that weren't, in line with leading somebody to Christ, if you will. But I just told him, you know, listen, you're a fucking big bully. Do you know what I mean? Look how big you are, you know, and you're chasing a fucking kid that's like 5'7". Do you know how fucking ridiculous you look? You know? And I said, I'll just be honest with you, this shit's gonna fucking stop today. You know? And he was like, oh yeah, or what? And I said, bro, you don't even want to fucking, you're so used to picking on people that what I'm about to do to you is not going to be something that you're fucking familiar with. So he was so embarrassed. His wife was like, oh, and you're going to let him talk to you like that? Right in front of his wife. And he did nothing about it. And he did nothing later when I seen him. He ran around a fucking car and told his wife to call the police. I never touched the guy. Cops come to my house, said I assaulted him. He went to the hospital, got scratches on him from God knows what. I wish I would have beat his ass. But anyways, I went to jail, long story short. Detoxed in jail and all that stuff. And I just remember thinking, you know, like, you know, this is the fucking part of your life. This is the part of the movie where usually I would be able to anytime my back's against, like with this hurricane, anytime my back's against the wall, guy stabbing a guy in a homeless shelter, I'm watching 15 fucking people stand around and not do anything, and God telling me to go over there and just slam him on his head. And you know, anytime my back's against the wall, I know that I have what it takes to, you know. So I kind of knew when I went to jail that this was God's. You know, I was thinking more like a club that you see on TV, like in Malibu. I wasn't thinking the county lockup, and I wasn't thinking I'd be there for 56 days. I didn't think I'd be shackled to other fucking people and put in a van and marched back and forth like I was with fucking Charles Manson or the fucking Unabomber. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother story. But anyways, God kept putting these things in, you know, in my way that were meant, they're like little life hacks that all you had to do was press the button and, you know, it would put you somewhere else. And I remember he put a drug dealer in my life named Bear, this black dude that had a foot fetish, and brought a prostitute over to my house one day. And that's a whole nother story. I'm just telling you, I've seen a lot of crazy shit in my life, so nothing really surprises me. I'm like, you got any pills? And he's like, no, man, but I got some Suboxone. And I said, what is that? Oh, that's what people use. I go, I don't want that. I want pills. I'm in fucking, you know, pain, you know. And he was like, well, it helps ease the withdrawals, you know, so you won't feel, you know, like you need pills. I said, well, how much are they? He said, I don't know, they're like $25 for a strip. He said, but you don't need a full strip, and that's the highlight of my life, is I never took the full amount of Suboxone that they gave me, ever. But, you know, I started on them, you know, taking a little bit here and there, and boom, before you know it, I was sleeping in an office without electricity, running my bedbug business. But I was so happy to be out of jail and have my fucking cats with me that I didn't even care. You know what I mean? I would take a shower at the gym, go to customers' houses, use some of my friends, some of them from Buffalo. I would pay them to give me a ride. This was before Uber. And then Uber came on the scene, and I kind of used them a couple times. Sorry, guys. But he said to me, if you're on Medicaid, you get these for free and you can go to rehab and stuff for free. And I was like, no way. Why would you tell me that? One, I'm buying them off you. But he told me, and that started the miracle that happened, in my life. And when I think back upon, my brother's death, there was years that I wanted to kill the person that sold him drugs. Now, don't get me wrong, my brother has to be fucking responsible too for his part in this. He's not, I don't think he was murdered or anything. But the guy carelessly sold him methadone, and he probably drank what a fucking junkie would drink in a course of 2 days in 1 day or whatever, but it was enough to kill you. And we just had a conversation with methadone, and I told him how dangerous and strong it is, and it will fuck you up, and you don't need a lot of it. It's like a fucking super drug. So he died, and I started getting better. But the difference between him dying and not having Jesus Christ as the main focal point of my life was I'm in a meeting for Narcotics Anonymous, and I said right before, kind of like this hurricane, I knew I didn't have to go anywhere. God told me something terrible is going to happen after Christmas time. And I said to my dad, I said, we're going to have the worst fucking Christmas that we've ever known. And he was like, what do you mean? I go, I'm not 100% sure. But I had said to them, you need to prepare for his death, because he was on a short train. He was on a long train ride, you know what I mean, with a short track. And it had been going on forever, and he started getting really bad. God told me to tell him, he was in New York with me, and he was really fucking up. And God told me to tell him, do not move to California or you will die. And I remember telling him that. And when I got the call from my dad, I was in an NA meeting sitting there, and I wasn't surprised, I didn't cry right there, you know what I mean? It was kind of like in shock, but I knew it was going to be okay, where before I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew that I would be, now I have the tools, I have the Holy Spirit. I've been in counseling almost 9 months at this point, group therapy, coloring pictures with other fucking idiots, all kinds of stuff. And I knew that I wasn't going back to pills. So when someone, reminds me that my brother died, when I say I'm over it, I'm more over that part of my life was so fucking crazy that it's a miracle that I even survived it, and there's only one person, in the miracle business. And that's why I can talk so freely about this stuff and not really care if it's uncomfortable for somebody or not, because I've seen how God works. I've seen what he did in Sexy Sports Bra's life. You never know what she has on when she comes out. She probably got a crush on one of the neighbors or something. Oh yeah. But and that's why I knew with her. Look at this, this fucking after hurricane lingerie look we're doing here. You got me all fucked up. I knew that was going to happen. But no, I was able to see, like, God took me to her, and we would have never met if she had a mask on. And God gave me I'm not going to say I had the fucking maturity of a man my age is supposed to have, because we had so many bumps and bruises along the way. But God told me, I've never had God give me the power to forgive somebody, I had him tell me to be merciful, and not even tell me, but make me be able to, all the times she made me look like a fool. God said, really, how many times have you made me look like a fool? How many times, and I just realized, like, I love the person, I love the person. I don't like, I just don't approve of your behavior. And, we had a fucking whirlwind romance, as they say. And I told her 1,000 times, don't ever ask me till I don't want to live together with another girl. I've only lived with like 2 or 3 girls in my entire life, and I've been out there in the world looking for them since I was 17. And God just kept talking to me about her, you know? And I was going, God, are you crazy? Do you not see hello? You know, do you not see what the heck she's doing to me? You know what I mean? Like embarrassing me and, but I said to myself, like, you're no different. So what, you're going to let your ego and your toxic masculinity come in the way of her getting, and then just watching it happen. Like, I mean, I've told her numerous times, the highlight of my life is watching you turn into the person that you are today. After everything I've been through, to see one person, to really see one person's life change from, I don't even read, I look at pictures of her from when we first started talking, and I just go, man, I don't even remember that person. Man, we would be arguing, and I would just say, like, you're lying about all of this stuff. When are you gonna, I just said to her one day, when are you gonna just realize, you know what I mean, that I know you're lying, and nothing between us, we're never gonna get close or anything if you keep lying. And I remember we were in the shower, and she burst in, we're arguing in the shower, you know what I mean? Everything always happens in my bathroom when I have a revelation or whatever, but and she burst out in tears and said, I know, and I just told her, submit your life to God. Really, really, really make sure that you believe in him. Make sure that you know that he sent, his only son, and that you need to pray and ask him to come into your life. And, looking back at my life, until I prayed that prayer, I knew God, I knew of him, but I didn't, how I know of him now is two different. I mean, it's heads and tails above. I know him on such a level now that I said, I'm telling you, you need this help, and she did, she did numerous times, and then was there a pause or something? Anyways, that's the story.